Two Civics, two manuals, one built to dominate the daily drive, the other engineered to embarrass sports cars twice its price. This is the 2023 Civic Type R, the fastest, most aggressive version Honda's ever put on the road. 315 horsepower, serious aero, Brembos, and a 6-speed that begs you to downshift into every corner. And this is the 2022 Civic Si, the affordable, understated, perfectly balanced sedan that's built for drivers who still care about connection, not just touchscreens and drive modes. They ride on the same platform, they share the same roots, but they feel completely different once you get behind the wheel. The Si is light, smooth, and easy to live with. The Type R is razor sharp, louder, lower, and a whole lot angrier. So which one's actually better to drive? Which one gives you the most for your money? And why does one cost nearly double without losing a single gear? Let's break it down. The 2023 Civic Type R isn't just fast. It's the most serious performance car Honda's ever sold in the US market, and it shows. Let's start with the basics. Under the hood, you're getting a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder pushing out 315 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, all to the front wheels. That power goes through a slick 6-speed manual with one of the best shift actions of any car on sale right now. It's mechanical, tight, and incredibly rewarding to use. You also get rev matching built in, which works surprisingly well but can be turned off if you want to do it yourself. From the moment you start driving it, the Type R feels sharp. Everything responds quickly. Steering, throttle, brakes, and it doesn't take long before you realize just how capable it really is. This isn't some Civic with a wing and more boost. It's a purpose-built performance car with serious engineering underneath. Honda didn't just throw horsepower at it, they reworked the suspension geometry with dual-axis front struts, which help eliminate torque steer and keep the front end composed under hard acceleration. The chassis is wider and stiffer than the standard Civic hatchback, and the adaptive dampers mean you can actually fine-tune the ride for normal roads or track use. And it grips. The car comes stock with Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, and when combined with the limited slip differential and that suspension setup, the front end just bites, even when you're driving it like a lunatic. Inside, the Type R strikes a rare balance. It feels special without going over the top. You get deep suede bucket seats with just the right amount of bolstering. Aggressive, but still comfortable enough for long drives. The red interior theme is back, and while it's bold, it never feels tacky. The digital cluster switches layouts depending on drive mode, and there's a dedicated +R setting that sharpens everything instantly. The rear seats and trunk space are still usable. This is still a hatchback after all, but no one's buying the Type R for practicality. You're buying it for how alive it feels every time you drive it. And compared to the last gen Type R, this new FL5 feels more mature. The styling is cleaner, the interior is more refined, and the whole car just feels more composed. It doesn't scream for attention, but when you push it, it still absolutely rips. It's not cheap, and it's not easy to find one sitting on a lot right now. But as far as front-wheel drive performance cars go, this is about as good as it gets. Every gear change feels deliberate, every corner feels like an invitation, and somehow Honda made it all work without giving up the daily drivability you'd expect from a Civic. Even in traffic or stop-and-go city driving, it never feels clumsy or overbuilt, just focused. What really makes the Type R special isn't just the speed, it's how much trust it builds the longer you drive it. The more you lean into it, the more it responds. There's no gimmick, no artificial drama, just grip, feedback, and a car that feels like it's working with you, not against you. It's one of the few new cars that still feels analog, even when everything under the surface is digitally perfect. It's trying to keep you locked in, and the longer you drive it, the more you realize how little fluff there is. Just grip, feedback, and the kind of confidence that makes you want to drive a little harder, even when you don't have to. The 2022 Civic Si doesn't scream for attention, but once you start driving it, you realize it doesn't need to. This is Honda's idea of balance, something you can live with every single day, but still feel connected to every time you go for a drive. Under the hood, the Si keeps it simple, a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, pushing 200 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque, sent through a 6-speed manual only. No CVTs, no automatics, no all-wheel drive, just a lightweight front-wheel drive sedan with a proper clutch, a limited slip diff, and enough grip to stay playful without getting twitchy. It's not fast on paper, but it doesn't feel slow either. The torque curve is strong down low, and the lighter weight means it still responds quickly in real-world driving. You're not chasing lap times, you're chasing feel, and the Si nails it. The shifter is direct, with short throws and satisfying engagement. The clutch is light, making it great for stop-and-go traffic, but it still has a defined bite point that makes you feel connected. If the Type R's transmission is a scalpel, the size is more like a reliable pocket knife. Easy to use, always ready, and never boring. The chassis tuning is where the new Si starts to show its intent. It doesn't have adaptive dampers like the previous gen, and it's not track focused like the Type R. But it's tight. You get a well-balanced suspension setup that stays composed in corners but doesn't beat you up over rough roads. It's planted without feeling heavy and agile without feeling nervous. On a back road, it stays calm and precise. You can push it without feeling like you're risking the front bumper every time the road gets uneven. Let's break it down. Inside, it's still a Civic, but with enough sporty touches to remind you this one's different. The red accented seats are supportive, and you still get proper physical controls for climate and volume. The digital gauge cluster is clean, and the infotainment screen is quick and simple. No overcomplicated menus, no weird touch sliders. Just a car that respects your attention span. It's also practical. You've got 4 doors, decent trunk space, and great visibility. The rear seats are usable, the cabin feels roomy, and nothing inside begs for constant cleaning or babying. It's fun, but in a way that doesn't get in your way. And the more time you spend with it, the more it makes sense. The Si isn't trying to be a hero car, it's trying to be a car you actually want to drive every day. Whether the roads are dry and twisty, or wet, flat, and full of red lights, it gives you just enough of everything. Power, control, sound, steering feel, all in a package that never overwhelms you. What really makes the Si stand out, especially in this generation, is that it doesn't try to imitate the Type R. It has its own character. It's more subtle, more livable, and more focused on the kind of driving that happens between point A and point B. When the roads aren't perfect and the drive isn't planned. It's not trying to dominate your attention, it just makes everything a little more fun. The best thing about the Si is how often it invites you to drive just a little bit harder, not because you're chasing lap times, but because the car wants to be involved. Even on boring roads, it gives you something to do. It turns everyday miles into something you actually remember, and over time, that adds up. It's the kind of car that quietly earns your trust, one drive at a time. The Civic Si is a car that fits into real life without effort. It doesn't need to be babied, doesn't draw attention, and doesn't punish you for just driving normally. But when you decide to push it, it wakes up. The steering is quick, the chassis stays composed, and the power, while modest, is delivered in a way that makes every shift feel satisfying. You can rev it out, heel toe into corners, and still be home in time for dinner without anyone knowing you just had fun in traffic. It's the kind of car you can live with for years. Commutes don't feel dull. Weekend drives still feel worth it, and on bad days, it reminds you that driving doesn't have to be boring. It rewards the driver without demanding constant attention. You don't need a racetrack. You don't need perfect roads. You just need the key and enough gas to find an open stretch. And even then, it never feels like it's trying to prove anything. It just works. The Civic Type R, on the other hand, is built to make you take driving seriously. Not in a punishing way, but in a focused one. You sit lower, you feel the weight of the steering, and every input you give it is met with immediate response. It wants you to downshift perfectly, to pick a line through a corner like it matters. It's not a car you casually toss around, it's one you drive with purpose. And yet, it's not overwhelming. It's fast, yes, but it's also balanced. The power is usable, the grip is predictable, the feedback is constant. The result is a car that's addicting in the way only great drivers' cars are. Not because it's wild or unpredictable, but because it makes you feel like you're part of something, not just a passenger in your own car. Where the Si blends into your day, the Type R becomes the highlight of it. You don't forget you're driving it. You don't zone out. It keeps you locked in, engaged, and a little bit on edge. And for some people, that's the point. Both cars deliver on the same core idea, that driving should still feel like something, but they go about it in completely different ways. The Si gives you freedom to drive hard or not at all, freedom to shift at 4,000 RPM and still feel like you're doing something right. It fits into your life without needing to rearrange anything. The Type R is more focused, more intense, and more specific in what it wants from you, and when you give it that, it's unmatched. But it's not built for half effort. You have to be in the mood for it. You have to meet it where it lives. They're both great. The difference is how far you're willing to go and how often you want to go there.